All right. Yeah, I think it's time to bring our guest on today. It's been a while since we had a special guest on. This
It
is,
has, yeah.
yeah, we got Jeff from FREN Token. And what I was saying here just before we got on was how approachable you are, Jeff. It was so cool getting to meet you at the Intersect annual members meeting there in Austin. And if you can, tell us about yourself. Tell us about FREN Token and what friendship is.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, my name is Jeff. I started off in crypto probably back in 2020. It was COVID and everyone was talking about investing and figured I'd dip my toes in. And, I felt like I was drawn more towards crypto than regular stocks, mainly because of the 24-hour cycle that you could get involved with. But, the ideals behind it always made sense to me too. The search for decentralization and privacy and having all the transparency that's involved with it too. I really thought was important, and especially moving into a new economic system, it made sense to me. So with Friend, we started back in 2023 in December. We had a free NFT mint to start it off, and those were the ADA Peepos. From there, the community really rallied hard, and it was kind of the beginning of the broader meme season that we saw. And the community just kind of asked for a token, and we kind of decided that it would be kind of fun to do, and we just kind of ran with it. So we had the token launch about a week or two after the NFT mints. Had our initial run up around Christmas time of that year, and since then we've just been in the trenches. We've been doing a lot in real life, going to events, as well as on chain. We have a trading bot that we have been working with a development team for, and it's really seen a lot of growth in the last 5 to 6 months. So it's been a lot of fun. And then, yeah, what friendship means to me. I mean, to me, it's just finding people that they have similarities with you, but at the end of the day, they'll always have your back. They'll always be people that you can go to if you need advice, or someone to yap to, or just someone to hang out with. I think friendship is always there, and for us as humans, it's something that we've always kind of desired, and it's kind of why we have society that's structured the way that we do, in my opinion. But yeah, we can go into that more later too.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I love the energy in your Discord as well. I've spent some time obviously in your Discord server, and it's always very inviting, and it really is a very friendly place. And I love that. I love that friendship is the utility, is the thing for it. And in terms of Cardano, what was there something that made you choose Cardano or drew you to Cardano originally to want to get involved in this community?
Yeah, to me, the ethos that it was built on was pretty big. When I was kind of scoping out the crypto scene, it was kind of Bitcoin and all these other coins, and none of them really had the ethos that Cardano did in terms of true decentralization and on-chain governance and liquid staking the way that we have it. So that was initially what kind of brought me in. And I think at the time too, ETH was really popping off. It was DeFi season, NFTs were going off. So for me, it was like, okay, I can't afford $400 of gas. Like, let me search for an alternative. Because I'm a degen. I got in with NFTs. I do meme coins. I trade utility coins. I do it all. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer with low transaction fees and things like that. And obviously, we've had our issues over the last few years, kind of trying to live up to the hype that I think a lot of people set those expectations to, which
Hmm.
it kind of is what it is. But I think we're in a much better spot today, and it's definitely exciting to be this involved with the community.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes wonder if it helps just to tune out some of the noise, because, I feel like I've jumped into more Cardano spaces that were just it sounded like a bunch of shouting matches, and I couldn't listen for more than about 5 minutes. But at the same time, like, nothing has changed in the technology from when they've been following their roadmap. I feel like it's there has been some drama. Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah, there has been some drama, but I mean, to be honest, like the tech has changed. It's only gotten better.
Better, exactly.
It's only improved. I still talk to people that came over when Sunday Swap launched. What was that? 2021,
Mhm.
2022. Talking about, oh, it took a week for my transaction to go through, and it's like, okay, well, in 2025, Cardano moves a lot differently. You don't have to wait more than a few seconds, depending on what contract the token is trading on. But um,
I
yeah,
rem I
things are a lot
remember
better.
that. I remember that epoch. There was I remember the epoch where we basically almost broke the chain, where Hosky had everybody sending their little two ADA microtransactions for Hosky tokens. It was when the Doggy Bowl first launched.
Yeah,
That was a fun time, man. That was back in
yeah,
2021, I think. So
yeah. It
yeah.
was it was a lot of fun just doing degenerate stuff on chain to see where we can break it and how we can fix it. I think honestly, we kind of need to bring that mentality back where it's just break shit and try to fix it, because with those fixes come better technology, better tools. Um, you just learn more about the chain, to be honest. So
I,
Yeah, I think that there's something to be said with that. When you look at just those minute things that over time they're just pieces. They're pieces to like a 1,000 piece puzzle. You know what I mean? And the more you can get intricate and like the more you can learn about those things, I feel like that's really dope. And yeah, I love that. I've got a few more questions, but Dunamis, I'm sorry, you were in the midst of asking a question.
oh no, I was just I think that's really cool. I agree with everything that you're saying about Cardano, and I do think that we've got some interesting days ahead, and I would like to see us regain some of that fun joy that came from those early days of Cardano again. I think that can come back. So,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, absolutely agree. Because as much as there is the drama, at the end of the day, people are here for the same reason, and they want to see Cardano succeed, or else there wouldn't be drama.
Right. And
definitely.
getting back to that, yeah, and I think drama is drama at the end of the day, and I think that all of that's just nuance to what's happening, and I think that that's also created such a powerful narrative too, that it's now it has its own ecosystem and its own developments, and it's not necessarily literally technical. It's just more hearsay than anything. But to kind of piggyback off of that, I wanted to ask you earlier because and I wanted to highlight decentralization, as being one of your whys when you were looking into this space, and just how you apply that that decentralization ethos into your community with your creators, and just how you make overall decisions.
Yeah. So we are trying to implement some new things. I've been talking with the CTO team to try to get some sort of DAO structure together. That way, people can actually have a say and more of a desire to participate, if
Mhm.
they so choose. And we've got different things set up that I think will be perfect testing grounds for that, so to speak. Because with FriendBot, we have portion of the fees going to Friends for Good. So initially, what we did with that was we helped out Consensus, and they're a Cardano project that is looking to onboard refugees onto the blockchain. So
Cool.
we worked with them, and we helped purchase all of the tablets that they would need. We helped supply some friends so that they would have a token that they could get some trading practice with and stuff like that. But it would be really nice to get some more community input on what to do with the rest of that, and just to develop it further. Because as the trading bug gets more adoption, obviously more fees are going to be coming towards that. So
Right.
to get more of a community say, I think would be really really fun for that. And then to just kind of snowball it into the rest of what FREN is. Because at the end of the day, we are a community takeover. I'm not the one who minted the NFTs or the token. I'm just, the guy that stepped up when shit hit the fan. So
Yeah.
I think trying to keep the community involved with all of the at least some of the bigger stuff is good. Obviously, I think um, it's important to have somebody kind of making executive decisions, but I think in terms of like where do we want to take the brand, like it definitely will fall on more of the community to help bring that to where it needs to be. So
I love that. I love that, man. What you've just said, and I want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it literally means to apply utility into your brand. It's not just a word that sticks out or, you just put up on the billboard. When you look into it, you recognize the utility and what friend means. So I really appreciate you answering that, man, because I think that when you look at things as a whole, it's like, what do you do it for? What's your why? And even if you're working retail, right? We're just going to go outside of the scope of, like, let's say working retail at Under Armour. If I love Under Armour, it's the most comfortable shoe and this and that and the third, and I work at an Under Armour retail store, I'm going to feel more like confident in selling my product because, like, this is tested and true, and it's different for everyone, but I really think that this would be a good starting point for you versus, like, honestly, man, I hate this shoe, but it's on sale. So, if not, just come back and get the more expensive shoe. Okay. So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I just want to kind of go back into the friend token and mention for people that don't know. And you did mention that it's, as a trading pair to get practice. What we've tried to share with our audience, we had an episode Fight for Money, and we had another episode Fight for Cardano, and we haven't really talked a lot about meme tokens, but funny enough, but one of the things that we did mention was the purpose of trading pairs. So the idea is, if you're buying a token like FREN, you're trying to buy that token when it's at a certain price on the chart, and your idea is to exit with more ADA than when you entered. And if you're looking at a pair, let's say, you can apply the same thing to ADA and BTC. If you're looking at the ADA BTC valuation, you can buy ADA when it's cheap in Bitcoin terms, and then when the bull run is near its end, you can sell that ADA back into Bitcoin, help to keep some of that value through the bear market. And so we're very much about trying to teach these sorts of financial concepts. One of the things I just wanted to, I know that was very long, but that's to mention that FREN token is a fixed asset. It is a fixed supply asset. And if you could sort of touch on that and maybe how somebody would trade a meme token to help, you know, improve their own portfolio.
Yeah. Well, I think you definitely hit some good points, Dynamis. It's all about risk, and if you really need to stick to a plan if you want to be that risky, in my opinion. If I my advice to people just coming into crypto is pretty much stick to Bitcoin. If you don't know what you're doing, just buy some Bitcoin. You'll learn how to trade the more you do it. So you just kind of have to, stick with one, in my opinion. But when it comes to meme coins, you definitely want to have a bit more of a strategy. You want, to stick to those exits if that's what you set. Otherwise, yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. It could plummet overnight when you're in bed.
Hmm.
So, you just want to really stick to whatever plan you have. Same idea. If you want to just stack ADA, then you want to enter that trade and exit with more ADA than you entered. So I think those are very good strategies to deploy. And I think from there, it's just a matter of if you like the meme, that's really important. If you like the community, if they're doing something that you really vibe with, like there's some great tokens on Cardano that are creating real world value or just great content, and there's nothing wrong with supporting that if that's what you like. I think there's a lot of drama involved with telling people what to do with their funds and things like that. But if you enjoy it, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the same as going to the casino and maybe dropping 100 on black just for the
Hmm.
fun. You might not hit every time, but when you do, you might feel good. But for me, it's really just been about providing that community, because I think where a lot of meme coins go wrong is just they don't really listen to the community. They don't cater to the community. don't boost up the community when it needs to be. So at the end of the day, like we've said, friendship is the utility, and if that's not what we are providing first, then we're just doing it wrong.
I love it, man. I love it. That's awesome. Izzy, did you have some more thoughts you wanted to share?
Nah, man. I mean, he hit the nail right there on the coffin with all of that. And just, I mean, again, utility and friend and all of that. And we just have to continue to stay focused in why we're here and why we were even here in the first place. I've said this in a lot of episodes, Jeff, where um, we all had the mindset that we wanted there to be quote unquote change because we didn't like how things were going on in this quote unquote real world. So we created our own, set of standards to, um, you know, build this better world. And at times it seems as though history is repeating itself. And that's we can't be afraid to take that leap of faith and to have more projects like this that it's not a hard mentality because it was the initial mentality, but to just take
Mhm.
that leap of faith and all of that, I feel that that will soon be that snowball effect that you were mentioning earlier, and just the community falling into place. And I feel that that's going to be something contagious for a lot of these other projects, and then in return, that builds trust and integrity and the ecosystem that we've always wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I can also ask Jeff regarding, the future of Friend, because it's something that we don't really know, but we're both building brands here, and so the potential for the meme, the Peepo meme, and merch, or even potentially like cartoons or other media. I mean, it feels like there's potentially unlimited ways that you could go. Have you thought about it, or what sorts of things you might want to have team members work on?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're always kind of looking for because, I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to see Friend grow into one of the biggest brands on Cardano. I don't think anyone would kid themselves if they didn't want to see that happen. For us, yeah, we're exploring more content. We're working with a creative studio right now that is going to be making more GIFs for us and just leveling up the content in general. So I'm super stoked for that, and hopefully, we can start off with the GIFs and really take it to the next level after that. Um, in terms of what's next, I mean, we're always looking to leave our mark somewhere. So, if someone's coming to me asking if they can use Friend for their NFTs, absolutely. We want friendship to be all over Cardano, involved with every project that we can possibly be involved with. Um, we've got a partnership with someone who owns a World Mobile Token node, so we are going to be working with them as well to have a staking site and all of that stuff for people that hold World Mobile Token that they can go and stake to a friend node, and a portion of those fees will go to buying and burning friend as well as more charity stuff. So I think that is good because it kind of builds upon what we've already done. But I really do like the burn mechanisms, mainly because I think the supply of friend is too big. So we just got to cut that down as much as we can. But also, it's not like over promising anything. It's just, hey, we're adding something new. It's going to bring some revenue to the table, and we're going to, just buy and burn some supply off of the market. To be honest, I think that's really what most meme coins need is just some sort of gimmick like that, where
Uh-huh.
the stuff that happens in the real world that essentially the community helped build because they invested in the project to begin with, and they were posting on Twitter or whatever. It kind of goes back to them in a way, and maybe that isn't always a burn. Maybe it's just zapping the ADA into a liquidity pool or something like that. I think it's certainly good to invest in your community with those sorts of initiatives.
That's so crazy to me that, right, like, I have never thought of a burn in that way, until you described it right now, but I just see it as the inverse now of the Federal Reserve printing money is to make your money worthless, is they're
Yeah.
basically burning the money to make your money worth more. That's awesome.
Yeah, and especially because we are buying it off the market. I know there's a lot of conversation about that, but at the end of the day, like, there's less supply in circulation, and if people are wanting to get into the community at that point, they'll have to probably pay a premium to do so. I think the math just makes sense, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. And again, this is not financial advice. We say that all the time with this stuff, but I will say that I have a wallet for my AI agent Guantes, and he's been dollar cost averaging friend, and I'm very happy to hear you say that stuff. So very, very cool. Um,
Awesome.
let's let's just kind of wrap up, I think, a little bit more on the personal stuff. And Jeff, I just want to say that we've in this podcast we tend to touch on a lot of men's topics. It's not always men's topics, but I think that it's important for men to have other men friends that they can reach out to. In particular, me and Izzy have been talking a lot about how it's important to be able to share things, to be able to especially when you're struggling, and for that not to be a situation where you're chasing the opposite sex, so to put it bluntly. But what do you think about having guy friends, and how important is that, especially in 2025?
Well, I think it's the most important, to be honest. I when I was in undergrad, I was in a fraternity, so I've been up close and personal with a lot of that kind of stuff. And to be honest, there were some friends that might not have made it if it weren't for some advice that was given to them from myself or for other brothers. So, if that's something that you're struggling with, like, definitely seek some help, seek some friends, seek whatever you need to, because you matter. We need you.
Absolutely. And let's just that should be a message to anyone out there that struggles with mental illness of any kind. So if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling hopeless, reach out, call somebody. Let June, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, be the month that we reconnect also with old friends. I think that's something that we can do. There's some friends here in San Antonio that I haven't talked to since I was in middle school, and I just want to reach out and go have a beer with them and whatnot, see how things have been. So
Yeah, friendship is always a two-way street. You never know what people are going through, but all it takes is just one message, one DM, one "Hey, you wanna go hang out" to make all the difference. So
Yeah, not being afraid to make that move and take that initiative of someone being on your mind and just hitting them up and just saying, "Hey, I was just thinking of you." It's weird. I was just sitting out here and the wind was blowing, and I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, yeah, how you been?" Just but little things like that go a long way, and a smile goes a long way too. It's another thing.
oh, absolutely. I think the younger kids these days think that that kind of stuff is cringe, but again, you never know what people are going through, and can make the world of a difference just by reaching out, seeing what's up.
Exactly. Put your phones down, y'all. You don't have to walk. You don't have to be on your phone and pretend to scroll when you walk past somebody. Just look at them and smile. You don't have to strike a conversation for 25 seconds. Just smile and keep it pushing. It's okay. It's okay.
that's it. And we all just need to be kind. I think be kind just like you said. You don't know what other people are going through. We talked about Killdozer Day in the last episode, and yeah, I mean some people are dealing with a lot. So yeah, that's all great advice, Jeff. I want to just thank you again for taking the time. It just you're just a classy guy. You're a great project leader. I have so much respect for both Fren and Hosky, are two of them. I know I'm not leaving other tokens out by mistake. I'm just saying that these are tokens that have real community, and they don't promise a lot. And that actually means a lot to me. I got into Hosky originally because they didn't promise anything, and so the fact that friendship is utility, I think, is fantastic. I think meme coins are supposed to be fun, and thank you so much, Jeff, for your time and being a great guy.
Yeah, of course. And I would
Yeah.
definitely agree with that. If it's better to promise, just a little bit and then deliver the world if that's the case. But, at the minimum, you will get some friendship.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon, man.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate you guys for having me on the podcast.
Awesome.
Yes. Appreciate you.